Hey guys, today we're going to go over some timing retards. It seems like this is a pretty common question. Some of y'all don't know how they work, and I figured I would start from scratch and show y'all the few different ways to do timing retards. So I'm going to click on Holley Efi V5, and then we're going to, this is just a demo global file, but all it is timing table. I've got all at 30 degrees. Okay? So obviously your timing table is not going to look like this, but I just did this so that it was simple for math. Okay. So there's a couple different ways to do a timing retard. The first and easiest way, and when I say a timing retard, most of the time what we're using this for is to get down a racetrack that just might not be, what we're looking for, and we just need to knock a little bit of power out of it to get it to go down the racetrack and not blow the tires off. So we go into System ICF, and then we go to Basic IO. This tab right here is timing retard. So you've got three options here. We're just going to enable timing retard 1, and retard number 1, the type is going to activate at the input release. So what that means is we're going to pin this to the trans brake input, right? So that when we release the trans brake, our timer down here will run, and it'll follow however many degrees of timing we're going to remove. So we can set, say we set this out for like 2.5 seconds, and we can make this nice. Oh, it already is, but so this is nice and linear already. Say we want to knock at 0.33, we want to take 12 degrees out. Whoops, clicked on the wrong one. See, even I screw up. There we go. Say at 0.33, we want to take out 12 degrees. If you want to just start rolling the timing back in, so we go 10 degrees there, 8, 6, 4, 0. So then, so by 1.33, we got all the timing back in it. And if you want to knock the timing out of it right at the release of the brake as well, you'd go back here and fill this in for however many degrees you want. So what this is a nice linear removal of timing from the release of the trans brake to help the car get down the racetrack. You can also view the graph on it. Might be a little bit easier to see, put it in perspective for you. And again, all these values are changeable, so you can run this timer out as far as you want. This is really simple. This is the easiest way to do this. The thing that you need to understand is that they are stacked on top of each other, okay? So if we do retard 2, and we do the same thing at activated input release, and we make the x-axis, instead of RPM, we're going to make it time, right? And we're going to make this one 5 seconds. If we pull another 5 degrees here, right at 0.33, that means we're pulling 17 degrees total at 0.33 into the run. So these stack on top of each other. So it's not, one doesn't override the other, they stack on top of each other. So if we were to refer over to our timing table, this table's got nothing but 30 degrees in it everywhere, but let's just do this, 12 degrees, and we're gonna again, this is not, don't take this for the gospel here. This isn't what you should be putting in your car. We're gonna fill column values, so now it looks kind of like a table. But as the engine, if you're on the trans brake right here, say it's a turbo car and you're on the trans brake somewhere about here, 7.7 pounds of boost. When you release the trans brake, the data log is going to go like so, and it's going to follow it with time. So this is something, time-based timing retards is something that you need to get a handle on the tune-up for the car, and then start using these in addition to using the boost controller on a turbo application. If you've got a blower application, this is all you're going to be using to go down a racetrack. So, because you can't, turn the boost up and down. So again, back into basic IO, timing retard, activated input release. So the reason why there's multiple stages is because you could, if you race it, like the way I use this, and you could be different, but if you race at one racetrack that's pretty crappy, this could be your retard. Hey, retard 1 is for track A. Retard 2 is for a decent racetrack. Retard 3 is for a killer racetrack where the retard 3 is going to be the only one that we manipulate. When we're at this killer racetrack, is very minute changes. So, in order to make these work, right, we gotta go to pin map, and you'll see timing retard 1, timing retard 2. Now, these are ground type inputs. So, if we look in our pin map that I've already created, the trans brake button right here on B21 and J4 is a 12 volt input. So, obviously, if we grab a hold of this, we cannot drop it on there. Won't work. So we go done, go to input/output. Right here, we modify these, or we change these from ground to 12 volt. Now, when we go back into our pin map, we take timer retard 1, timer retard 2. So, there's your basic timing retards. Now, let's go to an advanced table. So, we can create a 1D table. We'll go over, I thought I started one, maybe I didn't. Oh, there we go. Yeah, I labeled it retard. So, the table type is a timing offset, okay, so it's going to always offset off of your base, right? And then the x-axis, we're using boost time. So, this is another way of doing it. So if you wanted to have 3, 4, 8, 11 timing retards, you could, based off of time going down the track. But remember, they all overlap on top of each other. So if we were to run what we've got here, okay, we've got minus 8.7 at 0.3 seconds into the run. We go back over to our basic IO, timer retard. We got 12 here, and then we've got 5 here. So we got 17 plus 8.7 is 25.7 degrees we're pulling out. So that means we're pulling 25.7 out at 0.33 into the run. So that's the biggest, this is the biggest thing I'm trying to instill in y'all to understand, is that all of these, they stack on top of each other. So, don't enable one and then forget about it, right? So pick which way you like to work with it. Me personally, I like the basic timing retards. They're simple. But if you have a lot of advanced tables that you wind up using, like say here's a timing offset for boost builder, right? I made a different video on this, but basically what we're doing here is we're knocking timing out of it gradually while we're on the trans brake, and we're rolling the timing out of it as it starts building boost, right? So if you're in the advanced tab a lot, then maybe you want to use an advanced table for a timing retard. If you are, so here's like the scramble. Again, same thing. If you're in these advanced tables all the time and you want to, and you're tinkering with them, maybe it makes more sense to put the timing retard in here. So that's the other thing. If you've got a blower combo, right, in here, what you can do in here or with the basic IO, we can set up a table. Say you have a blower combo and you want a scramble button, right? Maybe you want to scramble some rods. You can, again, let's enable time. We can roll timing back in it too. So 5 seconds, we can add timing into this thing too. So obviously you're not going to be putting 10 degrees in it, but maybe after the gear change, you want to roll a little bit more timing back in the engine, you can. So you don't have to go and shove it in if you're in your base timing table, the gear change, maybe it falls back to here, but the car runs so good through the front half of the track, the first 60, 100 foot, you don't want to mess with what's going on right here. So instead of modifying this part of the map, you can go into your advanced table and we can jam timing in it based off of time. So you can put timing back in the engine or more timing in the engine. It's like a blower combo or something. You could also do it, based off of RPM. It really whatever your x-axis is, whatever you want it to be. But just remember that all of your timing retards or timing offsets they all stack on top of each other. So if this one, like this is set up at 2.67 into the run, it's putting 10 degrees in it. But this one here, well, this one's not doing shit. Here, basic IO, timing retard at 2.67. This one's pulling 10 degrees out, so now it's just kind of, equates to 0. It's doing nothing. So, you're pulling it out here, and then you're putting it in over there. You know what I'm saying? So, again, if you notice, I just tried to type in a -6, and it defaults to 0. That's because this is a retard, not an advance. Okay? You can advance timing in a advanced ICF with an advanced table. You cannot do it in one of the timing retards. It'll strictly do a timing retard. So, all right. Anyway, hopefully that answers all your questions about timing retards. Don't take my timing table that I just put together in about 12 seconds, put it in your engine and blame me because you blew it up, because that's not the point of this. The point of this was to show you how the timing tables, or how the timing retards and advances work. Have a good one.